Hello. Today, sorry about all the dust and cat hair, guys. I'm living in a construction zone. We are looking at my review of the BuzzFeed Oracle cards. So it is itty bitty. The guidebook is really small. It is very basic. Full color though, gloss, which is nice. It's got one spread in there. And then you've got the categories. So you have nostalgia, and this tells you 3 keywords. So for each one, you get 3 keywords. Then you have colors, environment, and last but not least, animals. So like I said, it's more just a quick keyword kind of deck. Each back is different. So you've got nostalgia, animals, environment, and colors. The cardstock is a matte and it's very flexible. So let's take a look at the cards and I'll show you what I paired this deck with. The first deck that I paired it with is the Cosmic Visions Tarot. So I'll place this dude right here. And the next one that, hairs everywhere. The next one that I paired it with is the, whoopsie daisy, Spirit Allies. So pop this down. So this deck, I'd seen it on, I think it's Tarot with B. It's a tarot reader's channel, and she uses it in her spreads. I watch a few tarot readers because that's how actually I find new decks. I find a lot of like the big tarot reader channels get sent like decks that I otherwise would not have seen before, and that's how I came across this one. And I liked just what she was kind of doing with it and how she was working with it. And I thought, let me give it a go. It's kind of cute, it's kitschy, it's nostalgic. It's something that I don't have like anything like this at all. It's a definite departure from what I usually use. Looking at these together, this one does not match at all, to be honest, aesthetically. I probably should have used the This Might Hurt Tarot because it's got sort of a similar color palette to the decks, but it was in my bedroom, and at the moment my bedroom is off limits because I am varnishing the floorboards in front of it. So I just didn't think to grab a lot of my decks from there. So that's why I couldn't really pair this perfectly, but I think the This Might Hurt Tarot would look great. I might even just show it later on so you can see how it looks. But yeah, so what do I think about this deck? Look, cannot use it on its own. Like I tried just doing a daily pull like I suggested, and it's just a bit weird just to have like 3 keywords for the day, because sometimes the keywords don't really like apply to a daily sort of energy. I'm like, what does that mean though? It's definitely one that I have to pair with decks. And I think in that way it's great. It might be pull something from the reading that I wouldn't have otherwise thought about. So it definitely adds a different layer, a different spin, a different perspective on the reading. I'll be like, oh, maybe, okay, this reading isn't the way that I had actually thought it might have read, and maybe it's looking at it from this point of view. This deck too is definitely one that the more I work with it, the more I use it intuitively. So I don't always go by the guidebook's keywords. I'm sort of in with some of them, I'm like, this card evokes this instant response from me. So I'm going to go with my gut on what it's trying to tell me. So I sort of have to feel my own way around with this deck. So yeah, look, it's fun. It's definitely fun. Something different. I am going to keep it because I did sort of like the keywords it added to the readings, but its energy is definitely not one that I could pair with a lot of decks. It's a bit too like silly and fun for some of my more serious decks. I think that's too why this would have been better with a This Might Hurt rather than a cosmic-y sort of feeling deck. Like the Cosmic Visions is very cosmic. So I think it needs something that has a bit more tongue-in-cheek to it, a bit more, doesn't take itself too seriously, likes a bit of humor. I think it would pair really well with those kind of decks. So I'm definitely interested in playing around with it a bit more and seeing what it really jumps out with. I think it would like anything sort of animal based too, because it's got a lot of that animal type of energy to it. But anything pop culture-y, obviously, definitely would vibe with. So what I'll do is I'll do a little reading so you can see what it's like. In terms of quality, it's good quality. It's very small. but I don't mind the cardstock, and like I said, I would have loved a better guidebook. I really would have loved a more in-depth guidebook, especially because there's some real obscure references in here, like really themes that you just don't normally find in decks. And I'll be like, wow, I would have loved to understand that a bit more rather than just have only 3 keywords with which to sort of base why it was chosen for those keywords. So that's the only quibble that I have, is I wish that it had been more expanded upon. And the size, look, I love small things. I do. Pocket decks are great, but because there's so many cards in this deck that it's a bit chonky. It's a bit of a chonky deck, but because there's so many cards too, you rarely get the same one. Like I love the variety. You know what I mean? Like I'm here for the variety and the contemporariness of it. The primary colors as well, don't mind at all. I don't have a lot of primary color decks, but like I said, I think this would have done well with some other decks that I have, but I just didn't have access to my whole collection this week. So I will quickly do a spread so you can see how it reads. So that's the thing, I don't know if you'd be able to riffle shuffle this because it is so thick and chonky. It's got a nice matte black edging to it. I don't know. I just overhand it. But sometimes I might want to fan it out because sometimes it does stick a bit. It sometimes does clump. Anyway, so what I also found that with this one, if I'm going to use it on its own, so I'm going to show you an on its own spread and then I'll show you it with the other decks. If I do it on its own, I like to double up. So that the keywords sort of play off each other, so to speak. So I've just done a past, present, future spread, and I'm glad that I've got a bit of all of the categories so you can see. So we have bear, and the bear is devoted, protective, and strict, with bees, which is busy, work, and hustle. So it might be, for instance, for me, that past I was quite hard on myself in terms of providing financially for my children and putting maybe a bit too much pressure on myself to do that. The present, chameleon, flexible, versatile, resourceful, with ball pits, jubilant, overjoyed, and ecstatic. So I'd say for my present time, I'm actually in quite a good mood. I'm quite optimistic. I am being quite flexible and sort of going with the flow, and I'm just getting stuff done in a positive energy kind of way. So I am still riding on the waves of that Aries new moon solar eclipse, to be honest, with the motivation and the energy. So that's my current state. And then the future, we've got delivery brown, which is impatient, eager, and restless. And the forest, which is partnership, teamwork, and alliance. So this might be that I am impatient in regards to finding a new partner, someone to build a life with. Maybe I've got a little bit of eagerness to sort of couple up again and be part of a team. So maybe I've got to like chill with that a bit more than I already am. Oh, my kitties are going nuts because I've had to lock them in half of the house. So you can see what I mean. Like you can sort of make a reading out of it. Obviously too, you could be like, what do bees mean to me? So this one's done busy as a bee and hardworking, but this is also very much like community-based hive. It's also signifies prosperity and abundance to me because bees literally enable us to live and eat from the earth, and they make honey. So you can do what your own sort of associations with that is as well. Like sometimes I just don't go by the guidebook. I'm like, this means this to me, and that's what resonates. So I just did a what message do my guides have for me right now. So I got the 3 of Cups. For me, this is signifying friendships. It's signifying to me that my guides perhaps are sending me some soul connections with people. It doesn't have to be love. It can be ones of friendship as well. So it's sort of finding my tribe. The Black Panther in this one is sort of the energy of being protected, so being divinely protected, that the universe is sort of co-creating with me right now and helping me find my way through the dark. So it's sort of like leading me as you will. So it's the question in this one is, what signs have I seen and what do they mean to me? So the universe is sort of aligning things for me right now and guiding me along a path. And this came with these two. So for environment, caverns means hidden, private, undisclosed. This is a card that is a stalker card for me in this deck. For me, this is saying that I need to allow myself to be seen, to not hide away in my cave and, you know, stay away from the world. I need to become part of the world. I need to get myself out there and stop hiding. And with the mall, hanging out at the mall, this one is literally about social friendly collective. So it's saying, okay, your hermit time needs to end at the moment and you need to get out there. You need to socialize. You need to put yourself out there and we will lead you to the right people for this part of your journey. So we are going to collaborate with you to find the right team, the right people, the right love to surround you. So like I said, this works really well with readings. It's sort of a complementary thing for me rather than something I wouldn't really be drawn to using on its own, but I do like sometimes just grabbing it and being like, okay, illuminate this, sort of like clarify this a bit more. What's the energy that I should be viewing this card in? So yeah. No, off you get. Whoops-a-daisy. So I thought I'd just show you some of my favorite cards. I'd say in this deck, my favorites are the nostalgias. Like, I love all of nostalgias because it's so freaking nostalgic. It just harkens you back to that time in your life. I think especially if you were like an 80s and 90s kid, hits real deep. So you've got Saturday morning cartoons, mood rings, a developing film, because that was the way back in the day. My dad used to be like, you girls have taken 50 photos of each other's faces. Like, go and do something. He's like, you know how expensive this is, Chanel? I'm like, Dad, these are the memories, you know. We spend all my time in my room, so what do you want from me? Here we have fortune tellers. My kids still do. It's so cute that my kids still do this today. They don't develop their photos to have Polaroids, but they still like to do the same things. The favorite animal is the cat, watching the cat playing the piano. I just think that's hilarious. And the sloth, because this is like my soul animal. Then we have Grandma Mauve. This one to me is my yaya and my nana. Both my nana's favorite color was mauve, and this person reminds me of my yaya. And this is a very loving, affectionate deck. Card. We've got Sleek Black, Double Tap Pink, Cold Brew, and Confetti Rainbow. So those are probably my favorites out of the deck. But like I said, I love all of the nostalgias, like scratch and sniff stickers, hanging out at the mall, snap bracelets, pass some notes, MP3 downloads. Like, it's all mixtapes, dial up. Oh God, dial up. That's probably not a memory that I want to like remember, to be honest with you. But they're all like very nostalgic, and I love all of those ones. So they're the most fun to me. Whenever I see those, I just have to laugh because I'm like, lols, that's good times. Word art. Wow. Word art. Flip phones. So yeah, this was the BuzzFeed Oracle. I hope that wherever you are having a brilliant morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.